In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Array Modifier to create a spiral staircase looking like this from just a cylinder and a cube. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first we modify this cube so that it looks like a single step. So I'm going to go to the Edit mode, then I'm going to press Scale S and then followed by Z to flatten it. Right, then I'm going to move the entire panel along the y-axis until the center is near this face. Okay, then I'm going to narrow it by scaling it down along the x-axis. Alright, then I'm going to select this face. So I'm going to press Ctrl Tab, switch over to face mode, and then right mouse click on this face and just pull it out. I'm going to scale it along the x-axis by pressing S followed by X, so to give it a trapezoidal look, a petal look. Okay, so that is one step for me. The next object I want to create is a cylinder. So I'm just going to press Shift A and select Mesh Cylinder. Okay, now this cylinder is a bit thick, so I'm going to narrow it down. So I'm going to press Tab to go to Edit mode. Press S followed by Shift Z so that I can scale it non-uniformly along the Y and X axis. Okay, so this will function as my support column. Okay, so I want this piece to be as tall as possible, so I'm going to select this center portion. I'm going to switch over to vertex mode, then select the center vertex, press Ctrl number pad plus, and then grab along the transform manipulator all the way up to make it as tall as possible. Okay, so now I want this spiral step to be a little bit wider. So I'm gonna press Tab to get out of edit mode, then right mouse click and select the step and go to edit mode. Okay, the original face is still being selected, so I'm just gonna grab along the y-axis arrow and then pull it out a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to apply a modifier to this. The modifier is called the Array Modifier. So you're going to click on the modifiers panel here and then select the Array Modifier. Now by default, the relative offset of the Array Modifier is on and the count or the number of duplicates is at 2. So if you look at the 3 columns here, it stands for offset at X, Y and Z axis. So this is the translate axis. So if I were to change the value here, you notice that the distance changes more. And if I click on the count to increase the numbers, you can see that it moves along the x-axis as the first row stands for in 1.642 units. So subsequent units will move at this number. So if you were to change this to 0, okay, all the duplicates are going to stack on top of each other. So I know that the second value is y, so if I were to increase this to y, you'll notice that the duplicates are duplicating along the y-axis. So I do not want to duplicate along the y-axis. And if you can duplicate along the z-axis, you can see that the duplicates will keep on going up. Okay, but for a spiral staircase, we need this to be rotating slightly offset each other. Okay, so we will not be using this relative offset. In fact, we'll be using something called the object offset. In that, we're going to use a reference object and use that as a offset instead. So I'm going to turn off the relative offset, and I'm going to create an object called an empty. So press Shift A and then select empty. Now the empty is this cross object here, which is now hidden under the shaded mode. If I press Z to go to wireframe mode, you can see it. So this is the empty. So select the step, the single step, and then activate object offset, and then click on this empty box here and choose the empty. Well, nothing happens is because I have not selected the object to offset it yet. So right now I'm going to select the empty, and as I move along the z-axis, if I'm going to grab it along the z-axis, watch what happens. you see the subsequent duplicates will offset accordingly. And it not only limits to just transforms. If I were to rotate it along the z-axis, I press R followed by Z, and you can see, okay, the steps will start to rotate, offset. Okay, so you can imagine the applications of this very useful array modifier. You can use this to create fan blades. You can use this to create circular petals, okay, of a flower, for example. All right, but in this case, we're going to create a spiral staircase. Okay, so you can continue to move this empty until, let me just switch to the side view, orthographic, and I'm just going to move this up and down, holding down the shift. Okay, then I'm going to go to the top view. I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe mode, and then I'm just going to rotate. Okay, make sure in the orthographic view. So I'm going to rotate this until you see one of the ends are overlapped here, because we're going to build geometry here so that we can have a support and a handrail. Okay, so I'm just going to rotate just a little bit more until it looks like this. Okay, so from trial and error, I figured out that for complete, okay, spiral staircase, you need about 24 steps. So I'm going to select the original mesh, and under the modifiers count, I'm going to increase the value to 24. Okay, so you can see it, from top view, you can see that it is almost complete. So I think I need one more step, so I'm going to increase it to 25. Okay, so my column here, my cylinder column here, now you can see it's not long enough. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to grab the top number of geometry, the top faces here, and I'm just going to push it all the way up. Okay, so now we have a nice spiral staircase, but we don't have the support, okay, the side supports or even the handrail. So I'm going to create a handrail by just modifying the original mesh, the original steps itself. So I'm going to go to edit mode, and then I'm just going to insert an edge loop. So I'm going to press Ctrl R, left mouse click on the edge, and then just slide it to the edge here. Then I'm going to insert another couple of edge loops, Ctrl R, along here, the side here, roll the mouse up once, and then click on it. Okay, and I'm going to scale along the x-axis. So I'm going to press S followed by X so that I can scale it up until I have enough geometry to pull up from here. So my purpose is to get one of the faces here. Okay, and then I'm going to press E to extrude until it touches the next step. Okay, you can go to wireframe mode, and then you can select vertex mode. You can press B to box select and grab these section of vertices, and then you can go to the top view. Alright, and you can try to rotate them until it matches the geometry. Okay, so essentially I just want to make this look clean and nice. Okay, you can fine-tune this by moving the geometry inwards. Okay, make sure you move the right axis. So now you can see the steps have a continuous support, but we are still lacking a handrail. So to create the handrail, we just select this face here and just press E to extrude, and you can see the handrail starts to appear, but we don't have the arm support. Alright, so it's very simple. Just switch to the side view. Okay, in this case, my side view is my front view. Okay, or let me change it to my back view. Okay, by pressing Ctrl 1. Okay, so that I can see it here. So I want the extrusion of this face to reach here. So I found a very quick solution. With the top face selected, you hold down to your Control key and move your cursor right about here, and then just left mouse click, and then you will extrude a face here, and they'll follow a very nice angle upwards here like this. And then I'm just going to rotate along here by pressing R. Okay, and I'm going to press S to scale along the z-axis to make it a little bit fatter, and then using the manipulator arrows, just gonna move this until it touches the ends. So again, you can fine-tune this by moving it around until they intersect each other. Okay, you can switch to wireframe mode. Okay, so to get a more precise orientation of the alignment. Okay, so I'm using the arrows and to align my geometry. So I'm just going to pull this back until it's aligned with this. Then this one here, just going to push it forward until it aligns here. Okay, so okay, this one is still not aligned. I'm going to pull this out here. Okay, so now that it's aligned, your spiral staircase is complete. Okay, so if you want to change this into a complete single mesh, you will have to apply the array modifier. Okay, so right now you can see my camera is right below here and the light is here. And obviously, if I want to see the entire staircase, I need to scale this down. But we have a problem. If I were to scale this down now by simply pressing S, okay, so this is what's going to happen. So the only option you can do is just to apply the modifier, okay, and then scale everything down. Only another option is to go to edit mode and then press A to select the entire geometry, all the geometry, and then instead of scaling it down by the median point, you're going to scale at the pivot point here. So to do that, you just click here, and since the pivot point is already the cursor is at the pivot point. Okay, if your cursor is not at the pivot point, you can press Shift S and then say cursor to selected. Okay, in this case, the selected went to the center here because I'm in edit mode. I'm going to go to object mode, and I'm going to Shift S and choose the option cursor to selected. So now the cursor jumps to the object's pivot point. So now I'm going to go back to edit mode again. So with everything selected, and I'm going to change the scaling reference point to the 3D cursor. Then I'm going to press S to scale it down. Okay. So as I scale it down, you notice that the offset is now wrong. Okay. I can simply select the empty, go to object mode, select the empty, and just simply move it down. Okay. And I'll get back my staircase again. And because my circular column is much thicker because I didn't scale it down, I'm going to select it, go to edit mode, press A to select all the subcomponents, and press S followed by Shift Z, and then just scale it down accordingly. Okay, so now I've successfully scaled down the spiral staircase. Okay, and maybe the column here, the top portion here, I'm just going to bring it down. Okay, I'm gonna switch back the orientation to median point, and then just grab this down. Okay, so that's how you do your spiral staircase. Okay, so let's give it a render and see what it looks like. Okay, normally I like to create a mesh plane at the bottom here so I can see what it looks like with shadows and everything. So I'm going to press Shift A and create a mesh plane. Go to edit mode, press S to scale it up. Okay, I'm going to apply a generic color to it. Okay, and my staircase as well, I'm going to apply some color to it. Alright, so I'm going to press 0 to switch to my camera view. Right mouse click and select the edge here to select the camera. Press G followed by ZZ twice and pull out the camera. Okay, obviously one light will not be enough to see what the rendered staircase looks like. So I'm going to go to the top view. Alright, press Shift D to duplicate and 2 more lights. Press 0 to go back to the camera view, number pad 0. Okay, so if you want to readjust your camera, or you want to change your view, you can switch to your perspective view, rotate to the view you like, and then press this combination, Control Alt number pad 0 to realign your camera. Then you press F12 to render, and you have a nice looking spiral staircase. Okay, let me just increase the rendering to 100% so you can see it in its full full glory. Okay, so that is how you render model and render a spiral staircase using the array modifier. Okay, I hope you can try this out, and I hope you enjoy watching this tutorial.